Okay. Wow, people already online. Welcome to Connect Plus. This is the unofficial welcome. Actually, this is the sort of behind the scenes welcome. This is Paul done live in a place where you're going to see in just a moment. And we're about, let's see, 4 minutes, maybe even 5 here before our Connect Plus officially gets underway, our global Connect Plus. So let's get ready to do that right now. Stay tuned. And if that music was drowning, my apologies. Hopefully it's a little better now. And do jump in on the Q&A and let me know if it's coming through loud and clear. Hey, John, g'day. Lovely to have someone else in this beautiful place. You're one of the few people, John, might know where that is. So if you haven't been here before, do take a guess. What's the view you've got right now? You know, John. Wow, people coming from everywhere. And John, tell me what MBS means. Oh, I see. I got it. What a silly question for someone in Singapore. Sorry about that, John. And by the way, if you have a camera or a mic, do let me know on the Q&A and we might bring you into the scene. If you'd like to. Oh my goodness, Jane's here from the United Kingdom. Nick and Arinda. Irene down there in Melbourne. Wow, awesome. Oh, put a yes in the Q&A if you can remember the words. Ah. Morning, Nick. Okay. Oh, about 2 minutes away, and apparently you have not been hearing the sound on the background music, which is interesting. Maybe because it's kind of nice stuff. Actually, let's change the sound. Let's see if that works. And maybe Hashima can tell me. And you can see someone else joining us as well. Hey. Good morning, Nick. We were having sort of interesting echo problems there. And I've still got to figure out why you're not hearing the sound. It's good sound, actually. Good music, but we'll sort that out in just a second. Hey, Kerry, lovely to have you here too. Oh, so many people to say hello to. Sorry if I've missed you. Kylie, wow, awesome to have you. Rick, I thought you had retired, but lovely, lovely to see you back again. And from there we go. And so wherever you are, thank you so much for being with me. This is Paul Dunn live in that place which some of us online have already identified actually as Singapore. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to see you. And I just need to make a couple of little amendments here to my system to figure out why it is that you weren't hearing all that sound. But anyway, we'll figure that out in just a little moment. I can see Masami is joining us as well. In fact, that reminds me that one of the things that I should be doing, aside from welcoming you, and particularly those of you who've gotten up very early in the morning, wherever it is that you are, thank you so much for doing that. Right now, let's see, it's just after 10 past 5 in this part of the world. This part of the world, of course, being Singapore. So welcome to you. It's wonderful, wonderful to have you. Let's see if we can do this. Now, I'm just going to figure out one little thing whilst we're kind of chatting away here as to why it is that my sound wasn't working before, and it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to go up in here and we'll run through what's going to be happening on our partner point. Partner point on our Connect Plus today. One of the things we will be doing later on, of course, is partner point, but not right now. So let's get into that, and we'll just share the window right here. There we go. Oh, it's disappeared as well. Wow, all fun when you're doing things live, isn't it? But now let's try again, and hopefully you will see a nice big circle on your screen in just about a moment or two, which says B1G1 Connect Plus Global. Hopefully you can see that, and maybe the team here can nod or give me some little sign, like a thumbs up or something like that, beside me, that you're actually seeing B1G1 Connect Plus on your screen. If you would do that for me, that would be wonderful. A little thumbs up would be awesome. Yes. Oh, Gary says, I can only see my comments. Well, Gary, there's a reason for that, and we'll tell you more about that. But anyway, let's talk about what's going to happen in our B1G1 Connect Plus today. It's going to be a little different, actually, and you'll find out why that is in just a moment. But those of you who've been here before, and we might ask you which ones of us have been here before, actually. First of all, we're going to start with what we call the huge power of small, where we take a look at some of the really interesting tiny things that are making such a big difference to businesses and to people around the world. And we're going to focus on that second part today. Then a very interesting partner point coming up. It's going to be very, very, very different, as you will see in not too many seconds, not too many minutes. Then we're going to get Masami's update. And I had a little squiz at that maybe 3 or 4 hours ago, and I've got to tell you, it's as good as ever. And then we have a big surprise. Now, this is a big B1G1 surprise, really is big. And so make sure that you stay tuned for that surprise right at the end of our time together. I think you'll be wanting to take some action on what you hear as well. So let's talk then first about the huge power small. But before we do that, let's get you to jump up on the Q&A. I think Zoom have fixed it in the sense that it's now down in the bottom right-hand side of your Zoom window. Make sure you are on the Q&A, not the chat, if you wouldn't mind. The reason for that is I just have too many windows opening up if you go on the chat and on the Q&A. So here's what we want you to put on the Q&A. Tell us where you are. Phil, I know where you are, up there in Newcastle-under-Lyme in the United Kingdom, and let us know if it's coming in loud and clear for you. And if you are a newbie, meaning if this is your first time, you might let us know that as well. Jump onto it on the Q&A, and we look forward to hearing all of your comments. Gary, of course you're in Dubbo, and of course it's coming through loud and clear. Elvis, I forgot to mention you. Elvis, we must acknowledge you. You are our first Connect Plus person all the way from Brazil. Wonderful to have you here, Elvis. Wonderful to have you as a part of B1G1. Actually, Elvis, we are going to talk about in just a minute what happened when you and I first met, which, as you may recall, was a couple of weeks ago in Bangkok. Gemma, lovely to have you from Stroud. Do I say Stroud or Stroud? I'm not sure. Kylie is in her piece of paradise up there on the Sunshine Coast. So let's talk about the huge power of small. And if this is your first time, then I just want to take some time to remind you of some of the things you've missed. Our first Power of Small, which must have been, I don't know, what do you think, about 5 months ago, something like that. That was when we talked about some really fascinating ideas about pricing. And Chris, I hope that connection is keeping up. Chris from Milliken Wines joining us for the first time in Singapore. Lovely to have you here. Did I say Milliken Wines? From Penguin, goodness me. And we might be talking about that a little later on, not today, but a little later on in some of our Connect Plus. Very exciting things happening in Penguin. Idea number 2 on our second Global Connect Plus was the sort of things that you do when you are acknowledging. Instead of saying thank you for your order, we showed you lots and lots and lots of wonderful, wonderful things that you could be doing. And by the way, if you haven't heard of those, these previous ones, just let me know, and we will be sending you the links. Actually, this third one that we did, a lot of people loved it. This is where we talked about how you do some really, really cool, tiny things, but very important things when you are presenting your ideas. So if you'd like to know about that, you could put it on the Q&A, or alternatively, you could pop it on an email to me, whichever suits you best. Let me know if you'd like to get number 3. Number 4, where we talked about some business building ideas. You may remember, those of you who are on that, we had some wonderful time with Adam Houlihan looking at how he had been strategically using B1G1 in his business and getting some fascinating results, like, for example, a 34% increase in opt-ins on the web. So those have been the previous ones. And was there another one? Oh, of course, I missed that one as well. Look at that. How could I possibly miss number 5, where we talked about what was happening in signage? And today we are going to be looking in number 6 at something that, not surprisingly, is dear to everyone's heart, not just here in B1G1, but around the world. We're going to have a look at some interesting ideas in giving. Now, many of you, as we look at these ideas in giving, it will come as no surprise what we are about to share with you. And we're going to share with you, actually, quite seriously, some pretty intimate stuff, actually, today. And to do that, I just want to acknowledge the person who's allowed us to do that, and that is Jonathan O'Byrne. And I'll show you where Jonathan works and owns in just a little moment. So here's the story. Jonathan joined us in B1G1, and this is, again, all about the power of small, the huge power of small. Jonathan joined us in B1G1 about 2 weeks ago. It was a Thursday afternoon, as I recall, and on the Friday, this is what Jonathan wrote. Now, I know we shouldn't have lots of text on screens and all of that kind of stuff, but this is one of those rare occasions when we do that. And you might just want to flip through what Jonathan is saying. So he says, I spent over an hour reading about the projects, and as he was going through all of the projects, and I guess many of us online have had this experience, that very different things start to resonate. And you can see Jonathan talking there about, he was thinking, by the way, you'll see what Jonathan does. In fact, let me show you what Jonathan does right now. There you go. That's Jonathan O'Byrne, and he runs a brilliantly wonderful company here in Singapore called Collective Works. And by the way, that's where you go to find out more, just www.collective.works. And you'll see more about Jonathan and the wonderful things he does. Now, so he's talking about how the project started to get him thinking about the people that he knows and how interesting that was. And, you know, things like the 1 cent vitamin A supplements and so on. But the thing that I find really, really interesting is this paragraph right here. So he says, when it came time to fund the impacts, I had dozens on my short list. Rationally, I knew it would probably make more sense to focus on a fewer projects. But he says, I love this, I couldn't bring myself to take projects out of my giving cart once they were there. So he says, I just rounded them all off and I clicked the little proceed button, and like magic, 589 little impacts were set in motion. And at that point, he says, I just sat back in my chair and thought, wow, while that sank in for a minute. Now, many of us maybe haven't done what Jonathan did. That is to just spend an hour thinking about all of the wonderful things that are there in B1G1 and trying to define, if you will, giving sequences so that it really does become a habit. And then, by the way, when Jonathan did that giving on the Friday, after he'd written that, something else interesting happened. And many of us, of course, on the call would know exactly what that is. And what happened was he got a B1G1 receipt, and this is where it gets a little bit intimate, but I do want you to know that Jonathan's been okay about me sharing this with you. So particularly for those of us who are new on the call, who perhaps haven't yet gone in and had a look at B1G1 in the depth that Jonathan did, or maybe those of us who've been busy doing other things and haven't revisited the giving for some time, maybe this is a great time to do that. Take a look at this. This is Jonathan's receipt. Let me just blow it up for a second. And you can see all of the things there. Some of them really interesting things, like a box of chalks. The one that I love is number 8 down there, giving a Marmite sandwich to people in Africa, in South Africa. And by the way, great to have some people from South Africa on the line as well. Dental hygiene, you can see all of those things. And of course, when people see that for the first time, it's like, you're kidding me, all of these projects. And yes, it does mean that Hashima, who's actually online at the moment, has to do a whole lot of things in the back end, sorting this out so that we make sure that all the giving gets done in exactly the way that you want it to be done. And for those of you who haven't visited the giving in quite some time, have a look at this. Let's go right down the bottom with all of those impacts. I think there are, is it 24 or 28? Oh, I got it wrong, 25. But have a look at the giving total, just $30 to make all of that happen. And of course, what that means is, in terms of the power of small making huge impacts, there really is no excuse but to get on there and start giving, particularly perhaps at this time of the year. Now, talking of this time of the year, let me do this. Let me just bridge into Partner Point for just a moment. And you know, those of you that are regular viewers of Connect Plus, and thank you for keep coming back, by the way, you know that one of the things we do at this particular point, we open this up and 5 or 6, usually 5 people around the world come on and they get 75 seconds to talk about what it is that they do. Now, I thought that we would do something just a little different today. And the reason I thought that I would do something different is many of us on the call, we go to meetings and all of that kind of thing. Well, just recently, and some of them, you know, maybe need a little life. And so just recently, so what I'm really trying to say is I'm taking over Partner Point today. And so just recently, I was across there in Bangkok doing some work with a B1G1 lifetime partner, and that is Catalyst Global. And Catalyst Global do some fascinating things that I want you to think about in the holiday season. Have a look at this, and I hope, and I'm sure Hashima's going to tell me if this isn't working. Oh, Hashima, I know why it wasn't working before, and I know I'm going to make it work this time. So here's what I'm going to do. Just figured it out. So what I'm going to do is just stop the share just for a second, come back so we can see me live just there, because I just need to change one little thing on that share button. And when I change that little thing on the share button, wonder of wonders, you are going to be able to hear what's going on this little thing that I'm going to do for you. All I need to do is press that button right there, and then you'll see everything that I would, or rather you'll hear everything that I would love you to hear. So let's find out where we're going to go. We're going to go right here. And so imagine you were at a meeting, and what you were asked to do is to do something, to build something at your table that connected with something that was being built at the table next to you, which connected with something that was built, you get the idea. This is a little thing that's called chain reaction. Have a look at this. I think you'll be amazed. It goes for about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Have a look at this. It's kind of interesting. Double rainbow. Let's go to wonder where this is going to be. Let's have a look. Watch the dominoes go. Now where's it going to go? Have a look. But that's not the end of it. Okay.
Does anybody else want to go?
There you go. Now, what do you do when you've got a fairly big budget? Oh, it's Terry Coco, so we can start that little plugged in, shouldn't we? Now, I hope that was worthwhile for you. Now, that's what you do when you've got a big budget, and that's, as I said, a thing called, well, in fact, let me show you what happens when you've got a tinier budget. How do the guys at Catalyst work with you? Have a look at this one. This sort of explains it. You get these little, you imagine again, you're at the tables, and you're getting these little things which says, this is what you're going to build. See, this is a slightly lower budget than Coca-Cola. And you build these little tiny machines, boom, 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 boom. And by the way, what these guys have been doing, they've been doing another thing called painting a big picture. And see what happens here. The whole little sequence is going to go down right here and go boom, and open up the picture that everybody has been painting in little bits. And one final little thing, by the way, do jump on the Q&A and let me know how this is grabbing you. And then I'm not sure whether you're musically talented, but what would happen if you were in a meeting and someone gave you, for example, a trombone and told you you were going to be a part of an orchestra? Wouldn't that be interesting? Take a look at this. Have a look. This is great.
For the next hour and a half, you'll be learning to play instruments and also giving a concert performance of your area.
This is what happens when you dunk everything down. So remember, these people have never played before. Now this is where it gets interesting. Have a look at this. Well, I hope you're recording. What a wonderful, wonderful thing, isn't it? And imagine being part of all of that. And as I said, I was a part of that just a couple of weeks ago in Bangkok. And what was so nice as well was that they transformed the whole award ceremony. And I'm just going to show you a little tiny bit of that. So the Catalysts have people right around the world who are now part of B1G1. And what they did was hand out awards for great performance and so on. And whereas in the past they would hand out like big cups and those sorts of things, you know, the sort of things that people would sort of go, yeah, right, really great. What actually happened is the award recipients were tearing up on the stage. And here's part of the reason for that. Let me just show you by getting out of that. There you go. So you can see that the awards were actually done with B1G1 gratitude certificates. And I think there were about 12 or so awards that were given out that night. And it, for me, just resonated so much, or reaffirmed so much, that this whole connection thing that we're doing together with you in B1G1 is so important. As Brene Brown said in her first TED Talk, you know, connection is what gives us meaning and purpose in our life. And this is a real lovely example of it. By the way, here's one more. Have a look at this. This is, and then we're going to get to Masami. This is a lady called Elsa. And she is right here in Singapore. And she heals chronic pain. Have a look at this. Oh, one more little one from there. But before we do that, here we go. Here comes Elsa. Oh, no, we're going to see more orchestrates and one or two other things. Yeah, don't worry, she's going to come really soon. In fact, I can make her come a lot quicker than going through all of those certificates there, just by flipping down here. Here we go. My apologies for that. And let's do Elsa this way. Here we go. Whoops, here we go. Elsa.
Then each new client, they get this certificate with the B1G1. And do you know what I find is amazing? That is, they don't even say thank you. They give me a hug and say, Ilse, this is so nice that we are part of this.
That's just wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So you're noticing, what you're saying is at the end of because they don't know about it when they come in, right? So it's like a lovely surprise, and they open it up. And so what you're saying is like it's a different... connection.
You know, it's such a small gift to give, but it has such a huge impact.
Oh, that's so lovely. That is so lovely. Wow. And I just love the smile on Elsa's face right at the end of that. So, and it is, isn't it? So lovely. And it does have amazing impact. And for some of us, those are just reminders. For some of us, it's actually for the first time that we get that these sorts of things are available. Of course, talking of impact and really nice things, that is a very good lead-in to something we promised you earlier on. So let's have a look where we're going on our journey today. And that is to say, I'm pretty sure we are going to Masami's update. I can see her there. So let's have a look. And do I have to share my screen, Masami, or is it something that you can do as well? You can share your screen, or... Yeah, okay, go ahead, share your screen. Let's see what happens. There we go.
Okay. Right, so I'm going to talk about B1G1 update, and amazingly, this is actually the final B1G1 Connect Plus of the year, right? So yeah, there are some special things that we would love to remind you of. So first thing is, we've been talking about this for some time, and you've been probably thinking, when it was coming. So nearly there, and you will soon be receiving countdown notification about brand new system. And there are three things that are important. So let me just go through those three things. So the first thing is, when you get the announcement and you got the link to log into the new system, one thing that's different with the new system is that if you are currently using username to log in, then new system will be using the email address for the login. So please remember that if your login doesn't seem to work, then try your email address, and then if you had any challenge, then just let us know, and then we will give you the login support. Next thing is that when the new system launches in December, we are doing this new launch event, the web event, to talk about all the things about the new system. So we want you to be there, and this will be replacing our next B1G1 Connect Plus for December. So yeah, when you get the notification, then please do sign in. Then the third thing is with the new system, if you've ever seen some of the previews of new systems, then you probably thought, wow, this giving story feature is very cool. So we would love you to be one of the first to try out and create beautiful giving stories using the new B1G1 system. And not everybody knows this, but if you are one of the first 50 people to create the giving story and save it there, then we'll be sending special rewards. So please do look out, and then be quick. And that takes us to something else. So I'm matching 3 with 3. So we gave you 3 things about the new system. So taking this opportunity as the official for the official B1G1 Connect Plus, the last one in the year 2015, we want to talk about 3 things that we are grateful for. And the first one is this. This is probably familiar to you. Yes, this is the current B1G1 system. One thing you may not know about this system was that in the early days when B1G1 was starting up and we had very low budget and we tried to craft the systems and trying everything we could, at that point of time, we had actually so many students and volunteer developers being involved in crafting the initial version of our system. And so when we launch the new system, it also means then we will be saying goodbye to this current system that serves the B1G1 community. So we would love you to do your final giving before the launch, and add on to your giving. And the next thing is this. In B1G1 this year, we've seen so many great moments of connections, and those connections weren't really created by us only, and these moments are created by you, you going out to connect with others, presenting your own gratitude certificate, or even speaking at your own networking event about B1G1 and your belief in giving. And another thing is there are so many of you who helped to organize fantastic events where Paul went to speak and engaged with more business people. So with your support, we've been gradually growing this giving community. So that's one of the 3 things that we are definitely so grateful. So we wanted to express that. And finally, the third point is this. So this was the number today when I checked on the site, that we were doing 69,385,252 micro impact, the giving impact. and I'm sure it's already up, above now. It means that you can see that we are close to the special 70 million impacts very soon. And actually, this number isn't just about the great, big number, but it's about your smiles and the smiles you are creating around the world. And this year we had many of you participating in the Smile for Smile campaign, which was a fantastic experience because it wasn't just about the numbers of impacts, but it was, we could see the smiles right there. So we want to really thank you for the fantastic lasting contributions and continuous giving that you are doing with us. And I hope with the new system coming too, we will enjoy the giving experience even more. So those are the three things that we are really, really grateful for. Then that leads to the final item, Business for Good conference in 2016. So we're going to be getting together to actually celebrate another big milestone, which is the 100 million giving impact together. And we're going to be in Bali, which is the birthplace of B1G1. So if you haven't actually seen this conference info, then please do express your interest quickly, because since announcing this actually just over a week ago, we've already received more than 150 expression of interest. So when you register your interest, then you can be the one to receive the early bird registration link with special offer. So please do go to bit.ly /100B1G1. And don't worry, this link is going to be on the follow-up email after this call. But go there and then let us know that you want to come. And then we will be asking you a few questions about how you want to participate and so it's going to be a fantastic opportunity to connect with so many other people in B1G1 Business for Good community and physically working together to create and maximize our impact together too. So it would be really, really great if you could be there. So those are the update from me, and I'm going to hand it back to Paul to cover off the final point, which is the B1G1 surprise. So back to you.
Masami, thank you so much. That was just great. We loved it. You bring such a special sense and essence to this whole thing, and thank you for the updates. Pretty interesting things there, right? And that is, I think, happening somewhere around about the 7th of December, something like that. But have a look at your calendar right now. Just go ahead and have a look at your calendar, and you will notice the date. The date is the 18th. At least if you're doing this live, the date is the 18th of November. So, but something interesting is happening in about 12 days from now. And we gave you a bit of a clue, actually, on this in our monthly update not that long ago. In fact, the update for October, I think it was, or November. Anyway, we gave you a bit of a clue. So let me share my screen with you and see if I can. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. What I'm going to do is share my screen and show you what this update is, or what this big surprise is. And by the way, get your pencils out as you go through, because there's going to be some interesting little links here that you are going to want to take some action on just before we get to that 35th minute points that we promised to let you go. So here we go. Here is the B1G1. Let's do this. The B1G1 surprise. So we should have a big da-da-da-da. And in 12 days' time, specifically on November the 30th, there is going to be a birthday. And it's a birthday, if you look at that cake there, these are the people getting ready for the birthday, and the person is clearly old that they couldn't stuff all of the candles in that cake. So they have to be, don't they, pretty old. So I wonder how many candles are actually on that cake. Well, we could play a guessing game, but I will tell you it's actually 72. And the reason that I know it's 72 is because that's when my birthday is. Now, those of you who've been in B1G1 for quite a while would know that there's kind of like a tradition. And the tradition is that interesting things happen on Paul's birthday. For example, I think the first time that we did this, there was something like 1,200 goats got given into Kenya, and all sorts of wonderful things happen. So we have something very, very, very special for you this time. And here's what it is. If I press the button correctly, you will see it. There we go. That's what I want you to do. You go bit.ly, that's an ly, / make sure these are lowercase in this particular case, NUMBER, number 72. And when you click there, I'll show you exactly where you're going to go, where you will end up. You will end up on a page that looks like this. And what's going to happen as a way of celebrating that 72nd birthday, you are going to come with me virtually, on my shoulder, almost like on a GoPro kind of thing on my head, and you're going to be able to take part in the study tour, that is to say the January study tour, virtually. So how about that? Kind of interesting. And each day what we're going to be doing is giving you updates and all kind of stuff. It's going to be very, very raw in the sense that we're not going to necessarily edit it or whatever, and it's just going to be like as if you were there, but you're actually going to be at your desk or at your mobile. So all you need to do is go to that page, once again, bit.ly / number 72. And when you do, you'll see that you can click on and you can actually buy a place on the virtual study tour. Guess how much it cost you? $72. And here's what's interesting. Not a single solitary cent goes to B1G1. What actually happens is the money gets distributed to all of the funds get distributed to the projects that we're actually going to study on the virtual study tour. So, and you can get as many tickets as you want. So for example, you might want to buy, let's say you had 4 people on your team, you might want to buy 4 tickets so that they can share in this thing at the beginning of the year as well. I would so love you to do this. I can't think of a better way of having an elongated birthday, as it were. So make sure you go to that link, once again, bit.ly / in fact, I've probably got a slide that tells you about it anyway, / number 72, and help me have a really fantastic birthday, and more importantly, help a whole lot of people just be impacted in profound and long-lasting ways. I would so love you to be a part of it. It'd be kind of interesting taking all those shots and the videos and thinking of you being, as it were, on my shoulder. So do come and join me. And talking of joining me, or joining us, and talking of joining us, thank you so much for all of your interaction today on this Connect Plus, this 6th Connect Plus. We will see you on the next one. Look out for the email that's coming to you from Ashima, and by the way, public thank you to Ashima for making all of this possible in the background. And Sandy, whoa, look at that! Thank you, Sandy. A long birthday, you're quite right, from November through to January. What an amazing thing. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of it. There you go. There's that link again. Look out for the email, because we're going to put all sorts of other links on there as well. But for now, thank you for making the 18th of November a pretty special day by joining us in our 6th Global B1G1 Connect Plus. Thank you, everybody. Been awesome to have you here. Bye from all of us here at B1G1 live in Singapore. Bye. Yeah, still here looking at all of those things. Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much, Phil. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let me just unhook that so that we can actually see that we're really still here. Yes, we are. There you go. Some stuff coming through on the chat. Oh, so much stuff. Thank you, David. Oh, that is so nice of you. We really appreciate that. Oh, Irene, so lovely to have you on the first one as well. Ling was there. Wow. Thank you so much for being here from the Gems Museum down here in Singapore. Wow. Happy birthday for 12 days, she says. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody was, wow, it's been so lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guess what? I have another event coming up, this time with accountants around the world. So I better get to them, haven't I? But for now, again, thank you publicly for being here. Looking forward to seeing you very, very soon as well. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.